So I was actually going to save this video for tomorrow, but I figured, you know what? Maybe you guys need something to watch in between football, or something that you're like, oh man, I just need to sit down after eating all the ham or turkey, whatever you eat on Thanksgiving. If you don't eat ham though, I'm judging you a little bit because turkey is overrated. But what I thought was, let's just do something short, something quick that you guys could watch. And I figured let's do like an all-time video. So what would happen if like the all-time rosters played out? Who would win? Who would come out on top? How would some like certain players play? How would the pitchers do? How would the hitters do? And I thought it'd be something a little bit short, something quick for you guys to get, like, just to have something to watch for today. So if you guys enjoyed it, make sure you hit the like button down below, subscribe to the channel if you're new and enjoyed the content, and as always, in the comment section, I want you guys today in the comment section to tell me your favorite all-time team. So like catcher, first base, you can list it out in the comment section. Let me know who some of your favorite players are and things like that, because so we're gonna do a 1 season sim just to see what happens, and I think it'll be kind of cool to see what happens. If you guys missed the last video, it's going to be on screen now and also in the top right hand corner. And I know in the past I've also done like a fantasy draft with legends, and I think I did another like legends video, so I'll try to find those and I'll put them in the top right hand corner as well, just so you guys can check it out if you've missed it. And yeah, that's really about it, guys. Let's hop into today's video. All social media links are down in the description below: Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, all that good stuff. And let's just hop into it. Let's see what happens. Alrighty, so I think the roster that I'm using is called All Time Greats. I'm not 100% sure about the name. I saved this roster a long time ago, and then I had to like pull it back up and make sure that this was the one that I wanted to use for this video. But let's just take a look, because there are like AAA teams as well. You guys can see like Sammy Sosa is in AAA for the Cubs. Mark Grace was an option as well. So there are some teams that have players in AAA. Not all of them do, but we'll kind of quickly go through the lineups and stuff so you guys can see who's here, who's not, and just to kind of give you an idea of what you'd be working with this roster. Also, you guys can see what teams have what, and you guys can kind of see who's on who. Basically, I've said the same thing 4 different times. From what I've seen though, there are no duplicate players, so they're like A-Rod's not on the Yankees, the Rangers, and the Mariners, not the Marlins, the Mariners. But yeah, that's kind of why I went with this, because I only wanted them to go to one team, kind of like how they do with the Hall of Fame. They're only on one team, and I figured why have a bunch of duplicate players, because there's so many players throughout history who have been, you know, kind of all-time greats. Let's just stick them with one team, and you guys can kind of see what we're working with. So I'm really impressed. Like throughout baseball, there's been a lot of like players that haven't played for the Cubs. If you didn't know, that's my favorite team. But there have been so many players that I've like looked back and been like, wow, they were like they were just a lot of fun to watch play baseball, and they made me really enjoy the sport. And some of those players, you know, like Nomar Garciaparra, it's not a name you hear about a lot, but like just the way he played shortstop, just the way he played the game, that's why I liked watching him. I thought he was really underrated. I thought at the time everyone talked about Jeter, and everyone was like, oh, this guy's the best at shortstop, or that guy's the best at shortstop. And I thought when healthy, Nomar was one of the best shortstops to play the game. And it's just unfortunate that, you know, injuries definitely derailed his career. And you guys can kind of see the other players here as well. Like Sammy Sosa, as a Cubs fan, is a huge player that I enjoyed watching. Who else? Alfonso Soriano, even players like Gary Sheffield. You know, just the way he played, the bat wiggle was what really brought me to him. But there was a lot of players I remember growing up that I was like, wow, this is just, it makes the game fun to watch. And so there's all the teams. Pitching rotations, I'm not going to do AAA because I feel like that's going to take a while, but we'll just kind of scroll through them really quick just to kind of see this. Obviously, people remember players like Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling and things like that. You know, Kershaw is another name that like currently is has to be considered for Hall of Fame, just with his stat line throughout his career. It's just been unreal. Roger Clemens, Pedro Martinez was a great player to watch growing up. Like, there's been so many players that I remember where I'm like, wow, it just made the game fun to watch. Like I've mentioned, it was just a lot of fun to watch them play day in and day out. You have K-Rod, and just players like that. You know, King Felix in his prime was just nuts. You know, Billy Wagner, Greg Maddux. I remember when he was on the Cubs. That was pretty cool to see. So there's just a bunch of different names. If at any time you guys need to, you know, pause the video, go back and look at the lineup, you definitely can. Carlos Zambrano, he was dominant for a couple seasons here and there, but you know, he was more of a hothead. and I feel like that kind of ruined his career a bit. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna sim it out. I'm not really gonna make any trades or anything like that. But yeah, let's just see how this plays out. See how season one, or this one season sim for what would happen for the all-time greats, season rebuild, team build, whatever you want to call it, and we'll see how it goes. So you've seen the teams, you've seen who's where and what's what. Let's see how this season plays out. All right, so we're almost done with the season. We're coming up on the end of September, and as you guys can see, 105 wins, 57 losses for this like all-time Cubs team. And okay, fair enough. I'm not interested in like actually winning a World Series. I'm more just kind of cool, just interested to see who won MVP, who were some of the top players, who had like the most home runs, RBIs, wins, and things like that. Looking around the league, Cubs were a wild card team. It looks like the Giants won their division. The Cardinals and the Phillies were the wild card for the NL. For the AL, you have the Yankees taking a wild card spot, with the Red Sox taking the East. The Twins, the Tigers are sneaking into the postseason here with the all-time team. And then you have the Athletics. Okay, so there's definitely some interesting teams. We'll take a look at we'll come back to awards, even though you kind of saw who won the MVP already. So notifications, don't really care, but batting average was Joe Torre and Jimmy Fox. And then when you take a look at hits, we have Kiki Coiler, whatever, Richie Ashburn, and then we have Adam Kennedy and Joe DiMaggio. At bats, not worried about doubles, Ty Cobb, Joe DiMaggio, and Ricky Henderson. Willie Mays is up there. We got Gary Sheffield, Jim Edmonds. For triples, we have Willie Mays taking the spot for the National League, and Ricky Henderson in the American League. Home runs, Mickey Mantle, and then for the National League, it was Barry Bonds. So that's kind of fitting. RBIs was Barry Bonds and Mickey Mantle. And then we'll take a look at stolen bases. Ricky Henderson had 55, and in the American League, Pete Rose had 44. For walks, I'm not too interested about. Let's take a look at OPS. We have a couple with 1,000, and then a couple with 1,000 as well for the American League. And then wins, Mordecai Brown and Greg Maddux took the top spot in the National League, and the American League was Pedro Martinez with 23. Catfish Hunter had the least amount of losses, and so did Greg Maddux. And then saves, we have Lindy McDaniel. What a name. And then Furpo Marbury. What a name as well. So we got two interesting names for the saves. For ERA, we have Greg Maddux and Andy Pettit. And then let's take a look. Shutouts, maybe something for shutouts. Mike Mussina, Hippo Vaughn. Strikeouts, almost 300 for Christy Mathewson. Burt Blyleven with 250. Couple complete games for Martinez and Kershaw. So some pretty interesting league leaders indeed. Let's take a look at the awards. Barry Bonds was the MVP, and Mickey Mantle was the MVP for the American League. Cy Young went to Pedro Martinez and Greg Maddux. As expected, they led the league for pitching in the American League and National League for a lot of categories. And then batting title went to Joe Torre and Jimmy Fox. Reliever of the year was Goose Gossage and Kent Tekulve. And then rookie of the year was Vlad or Travis Ryman. But I don't really take that seriously, since, you know, this is all kind of just all over the place. So that's those are the league leaders, the winners, the MVP award winner, or I guess I should just say the award winners. So yeah, postseason time. Let's take a look, see how things go. I'm not really interested in actually the Cubs winning. I'm more just interested to see who's gonna take the World Series for the all-time teams. And the Cubs have been eliminated. So let's take a look at the playoff picture now. We have the Giants versus the Twins. Okay. I mean, I know the Twins have a good team, but I wasn't sure they'd be the team that would make it in the American League. You know, you have the Yankees and the Red Sox. So let's sim a couple days. Let's see how we get on with this game. So we have a 2-0 lead to the Twins, and I wonder if I could go to like the Twins, and then we can just kind of sim this way so we can see the scores and everything like that. So 7-5, 9-4. We have 8-6, so they're a game away from sweeping the Giants in the World Series. And maybe we have a reverse sweep on our hands. No, the Twins defeat the Giants in the World Series. And let's go take a look and see who the award winners for the World Series was. Goose Goslin with a 481 average, 4 home runs, and 8 RBIs. And the postseason MVP was Barry Bonds with a 323 average, 5 home runs, and 15 RBI. So let's just go take a look at the Twins lineup really quick since they were the winners, and then we'll take a look at the Giants since they were the runners up, just so you can get a better look at them. I mean, the Twins, they do have a great lineup. You know, Carew, you got Killebrew, Mauer, Kirby Puckett, Torrey Hunter, Chuck Knobloch. So there's definitely some good names there, but I wasn't sure they would have been the team that would have ended up winning it all in a sim for the all-time teams. Let's take a look at the Giants now and see what they are rocking with, because obviously the Giants throughout history have had some crazy good players. You think of Barry Bonds, Willie Mays, Will Clark, Willie McCovey, even Bobby Bonds. You have a crazy amount of players throughout history. And then, you know, when you look at their farm system, they still have some crazy good players down there as well. We'll take a look at the pitching for the Giants and the Twins just to round everything up. I mean, Marichal, Gaylord Perry, you got Christy Mathewson. That's a strong team. That's a very, very strong team. And I'm surprised the Twins were the team that won it all. So we'll take a look at their pitching. Blyleven, Walter Johnson, you have Yohan Santana, and then LaTroy Hawkins. I remember him as part of the Cubs. Whew, he was either good or really bad when he was on the Cubs. Then we have Joe Nathan, Eddie Guardado, and Rick Aguilera. So I mean, their bullpen is stacked for sure, but it's pretty interesting to see how this all played out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's a shorter video, 100%. And like I said, I wanted something that was short, something you guys could, you know, watch in between football, and also, you know, maybe dessert and dinner time. You needed something in between that. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Again, if you did, hit the thumbs up down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and enjoyed the content. And as always, guys, let me know in the comment section your favorite team, some of your favorite players and things like that, because, you know, I'm kind of interested to see who you guys watch growing up, who are some of your favorites currently, if you guys want to throw in some current players as well. And that's about it, guys. So again, you know the drill. There's going to be 2 videos on screen. One of them is the most recent upload on the channel, and the second is going to be a video that YouTube recommends you check out. If you haven't seen either of them, go and check them out. And also, if you're new to the channel, head back on the channel and check out some videos. You know, there may be something that piques your interest there. I'll catch you all in the next video, guys. Happy Thanksgiving. Peace.